Salutations everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Conquest of Elysium 4. I am your host, BrainBoy20, and Conquest of Elysium 4 is the latest installment in the Conquest of Elysium series, which is a turn-based strategy game where you are one of varying factions attempting to take over the land called Elysium for either your dark god, or for the big G god himself, or for simply your own pocketbook to be lined. Anyway, without further ado, let's continue with the game series, shall we? Now, people know I like to do enormous games, but I don't feel like doing one as of yet, because I have not actually played Conquest of Elysium 4. Most of you probably know me for playing Conquest of Elysium 3, and you know the horror that was me doing all those enormous games. So instead I'm going to do a medium style game with a random society. Four other AIs. And naturally, we started off the previous series, which most of you probably don't even remember, but we had started it off as a high cultist. I think we should definitely do so again, and while it is traditional for me to do a small, reading of all the lores, because I can see that we already have a few new individuals here, such as the illusionist and the mock graph, as well as a few people who I think are notably absent, such as, never mind, I see the warlock right there. Demonologist, yeah. I think they just got a bunch of updated models. Alright, we're going to do the high cultist. If I was going to read all that stuff off to you, then I will do so in a separate video entirely. No teams, free for all, no. All of you will go Butler, because if I remember correctly, Butler is the one that's completely fair. They have no resource advantage over you, and you have no resource advantage over them. And unique random players will make sure that we can get a good idea of who we're actually facing and what has changed, at least this time around. And who else but an Odyssey himself. One captain for 44 gold. So yeah, this seems very much like the original. I mean, I see a few new overview tabs and stuff like that. So let's see, player overview, we have Latinus, Thierry, Cathriat, and Divicticus. That doesn't tell me what their races are anymore, which is nice. Unit overview, I can actually see what units are controlled by each commander, which is actually really helpful, because it's usually very hard to see where do these units show up and what do they do. And you can see that the action points are also right here to see who has actions and who does not. And in all honesty, I should really give you a good overview for those who have not actually played the Conquest of Elysium series before, and this is actually the first time you've ever watched a series like this. Conquest of Elysium plays very much like a standard civilization-style game, except that you do not build buildings. What you do is you build up units. Your units are what determine what you can recruit. At least your faction-specific ones. In this case, Narcy, the High Cultist, and the regular cultist, Ortigue. With these two gentlemen here, we can produce close to the higher tiers of this cultist faction as long as Narcy remains alive, meaning it's in my best interest to keep him alive. And basically keep him at the deserted post. Now, the deserted port, The deserted port gives the following resources, which can be read down there: 2 trade, 1 gold, 1 sacrifice, 1 armor to all units inside the city. That area just means it's able to be sieged, and the crown means that you can recruit there. Pretty simple stuff. You gain gold every turn, which every turn represents one of the 3 months in a specific season. Right now we're in early summer, meaning we have until winter before things start going to hell. Iron, which is used for higher tier troops that are not necessarily your faction-specific ones, and sacrifices is the cultist's faction-specific resource, which all groups have a faction-specific resource that they draw from. Excuse me. Bless me. These faction-specific resources are what gives the dynamicism to all the factions within the game, because factions will have, of course, very, very different goals, such as trying to acquire a township in order to acquire sacrifices, which would be me. I mean, who wouldn't want to control a city where the sacrifices would flow like water? But, say, a, dwarf wouldn't care as much. They would rather have a mine, which would produce iron, which is a resource they need. Anyway, without further ado, let's get Autig and transfer some of his troops over. This is already vastly different. I mean, I've heard of what they've done to change it, and the idea that they have created an entire troop deployment system in Conquest of Elysium 4, in that you can actually choose how your troops are set up, or what troops go with what. Which I guess is very, very handy for, you know, trying to control the flow of battle, and tries to minimize the randomness a little bit of it. That's also nice. The game actually tells you how many action points it will take to move into those regions for this group. Now, I would go for the silver mine. The 28 units pretty much says, no, you're not getting through this. So, Autig, go search for some place of sacrifices. And it even tells you, like, hey, here's where you're going to go. And as you click to confirm, which the previous Conquest of Elysium game did not, which was really annoying, as sometimes you'd make a movement you didn't want to make, and that might kill off your troops. And it looks like you could also queue up movements in such a way that you don't have to care about having to move them individually every turn, which is equally nice. Now, trade administration is same old, same old. For the amount of trade you have, you can have your people buy or sell items that you have acquired. In this case, I'm probably going to sell a sacrifice every turn. Buy it overprice. Why would you... That's weird. I'll probably figure out what that does later, or someone in the comments will tell me. Recruitment also seems very much the same as the previous game, except that it is just a lot nicer looking and a lot cleaner. Honestly, this is pretty much Conquest of Elysium 4 with a Conquest of Elysium 3 with a graphics update is what I'm thinking so far. What about these special abilities? Lesser Ritual of Mastery. Okay, first things first, a lot of these costs have changed dramatically. Call of the Deep. Oh, we're not near water. That's gonna suck. And it actually gives descriptions for the rituals, but regardless. Rituals of Mastery can be performed, which will grant you... What will they grant you? This ritual grants the caster a new first-level ritual, can be cast anywhere, and casts a new second-level ritual. If the caster is currently unable to cast second-level rituals, it will be leveled up as well. Can be cast anywhere. And I presume it has a level 1 and level 2, and with the ability to repeat rituals monthly. Once again, very interesting. I'm surprised that they allow you to do lesser Rituals of Mastery, and I'm going to have to try that out to see what rituals I gain access to. Now, I'm also going to have to find a water location to get, or at least be able to utilize my sacrifices. And I guess we shall end the turn, because I don't think there's anything else we can do. And now I see attacking independents at the Savannah. And so they're 15 rounds before combat. That is certainly interesting. And Confusion seems to actually do things other than it hurting itself or its allies. Now let's take a look at... Oh, score graphs are disabled. Never mind, we can't take a look at that at all. And who's the heck is calling me at this hour? Excuse me. Well, that was certainly interesting. It was my father contacting me from the hospital. He has been recently put in for surgery. Anyway, let's continue. So let's continue moving around. There's a gem deposit with a fire elemental. Good freaking luck in trying to kill this. Oh. All attacks have a range now. That's certainly something that's different. Beforehand, if anyone's familiar with Conquest of Elysium 3, combats didn't really have this whole combat grid system and system of movement. Instead, they had the system where you would have your army pre-built based on the troops that you've put into it, and having those two armies square off. Anyone on the front row could attack the opponent's front row. Ranged units could hit anywhere, but weren't able to really direct their fire. And mages were chaotic and sometimes the best. And there's apparently sleep immunity. There's sleep immunity now. That's really useful considering some of these spells that we had encountered, which hopefully don't exist anymore, but for right now we should continue exploring. We're finding these farms, but these farms don't really have anything for my use. And Narcy will continue not moving. Autig. find something for me. And a shallow sea. That's certainly useful. And why are there so many troops in this one area? That's almost insane. And a wooden gate. No zone of control. Enemy units can freely move around this unit in combat without engaging it. Stationary, immobile, never heals, pierce resistant. The walls are also equally new. And really there's not much to do in the initial turns. We're just kind of going around here trying to make sure we can make a name for ourselves, get enough resources, so when we encounter the opponent's factions, we don't die off immediately. An independent attacking Narsi, which turns out to be more of these Wolf Tribe individuals. And there's the combat system I'm familiar with. I think Otig is going to die horribly. And there goes our caster, and basically everything we had around here. Bloody deer tribe. And with no one else to recruit, we're kind of just stuck here for several turns, hoping for something to happen. Now, we could leave, but I'm assuming that there's a similar lose condition to Conquest of Elysium 3, where if you leave your territory and an independent claims it, you just flat out lose. And now it's winter, meaning all movements are halved regardless. And incomes are not reduced to 0 anymore. It seems like they're reduced by 1/4 of your total income. Which is, I'll admit, it's nicer than before. That's a lot kinder of a system. Now, we unfortunately have to save our recruitment to see if we can get a captain of some kind, as moving Narsi out on as a lonesome would probably result in his death. Captain? There we are. Ofar the captain, welcome. Please take all these units. Thankfully, the cultists of Narsi are able to auto-generate troops of some kind to join them in their fight. And because we have a fairly decent spellcaster, I'm willing to let them be left alone, to a certain degree. I just hope the deer tribe don't show up again and horribly, horribly murder me. And there's a coastal hamlet. Now, because it's coastal specifically, it will start auto-generating units for me every couple of months, which are very useful, or is very useful. And it will soon be time to move Narsi out to at least a place where there's water, because we need to start summoning up our main frontline troops. But as it stands, we're kind of screwed money-wise, or at least resources-wise. We're just going to keep moving around, hoping that we gather together enough resources that we can take the fight to them, so to speak. Bishop Fish. Apparently the fishes also have an organized religion in order to worship their fish god in the proper way. The Bishop Fish is proof of this and acts like the fish god's representative in Elysium, freeing up the busy fish god to deal with more important matters. Okay. It's apparently prayer level. Interesting. Really all I can say about this game is interesting. Okay, thank you, Bishop Fish. Thank you for just showing up. Let's speed this along, because I think we're about to die again. I was gonna say, go Captain, go, but he gets murdered again by independents. And oh my gosh, the independents are just, like, made of destruction and death. And the worst part is, since we're not near water, I can't attempt to risk a summoning of any kind. So I guess I just have to sit here and wait for another captain. Hopefully getting lucky. Maybe there is something I don't know. I guess it would make sense. And a great boar. Really? Great boars are like the independents that are incredibly strong. Or amongst those that are like demi-heroes or units that are just like near commander level. Because I don't wish to fight them. Do I have a captain available? No. I expect to be assaulted by whites, or ghouls, soon enough. Captain, my captain. Oh, captain, my captain. Well, they're trying to attack me now. We only have melee troops, so they are going to get through. And you cast Meteor. Never mind, we'll just let Narcy kill all of them. And actually, that doesn't just blast through and murder us. I'm not even going to question that. Captain! So nice of you to join us. If you please claim this back. And while it would be nice to transfer over something, we only have these hybrids for you to carry with you. Admittedly, we're starting to get hybrid soldiers up there, which is why I want more coastal cities. At least that was my hope. But the ghouls managed to kill them, meaning there's a new captain. There is a new ghoul there for us to fight. And we should really go and try to reclaim that area. An oasis would be nice, but the independents are ridiculously strong this time around, or I'm just being destroyed completely. I'm thinking we might as well go in the opposite direction. I also see Inferno moving from time to time. There isn't anyone who's actually named Inferno, right? No, I presume that's a neutral force of demons of some kind. And you can, in fact, spend future turns' movement this turn. But that means you naturally won't have that same movement there. For example, me moving into those hills cost 2, moving into another set of hills would cost 2. I could still do it, it's just right now I only have 2 action points instead of 3 because of it. And we are in fact right next to the sea, we just got really unlucky with our spawn. I was here, 2 deers. We'll move up here into the mountains and discover that there's also absolutely nothing here for us. To the desert. Maybe there'll be something there. Absolutely not. Latinus the Senator has been eliminated. La Citadel was conquered by Cathuret the High Priestess. Senators are basically the Roman legion, but they also had forms of magic that are like satyrs, revelers. The magic of what am I forgetting? Magic of the revel, I guess. And the Bishop Fish is trying to attack us again. We only have melee troops this time around, so hopefully we can murder those troops before it murders my entire front line. And the Bishop Fish can't actually do anything except punch us. Okay. Pretty pathetic for the first couple of fights, if I do say so myself. 4 ghouls. This isn't looking good. Hopefully we don't have to lose this gentleman again and have to get another captain. I'm assuming this is just a very, very unlucky start off and not us actually being legitimately destroyed. And I can't really go back with Narcy because I can't guarantee that this area will be well defended. And since it's winter, all movement costs another AP. Hey, Krakens! The Kraken is the most intelligent of all sea creatures, and it has shown a strange attraction to astral magic. More than once an astrologer has been surprised to find a huge Kraken climb into his tower walls, drawn by the astrological experiments. When the Kraken comes, it is important to have a magic trinket to throw away, because Krakens love magic trinkets, and should keep it occupied long enough to escape. Excuse me. Wall climbing. Slow, amphibian, blunt resistance. Well, if you don't mind me, let's go in the opposite direction and never look back. Alright, spring is here. There's obviously some independent force that just took that. Here, we'll take our melee front line. No, because it might be the bear tribe again. I guess we just have to wait. Because we're once again not close enough where I can actually attack. No, there's only deer there. Famous last words. If we die oh, 4 ghosts. Like, if we die turn 1, I don't care much for that then. Well, never mind. Our spellcaster is amazing. But Narcy, you can sit back at home. You've got the money back. You've got the money income back. We just need Lemuric to continue fixing up the sacrifices. Unfortunately, undead do not fall apart, so we have to continue wandering around here and hoping that we do not die horribly. The Great Boar waits for us. I'm just going to continue to try to go around it. And it looks like it's the first possible chance to recruit some actual army. So we're going to recruit some more spearmen to defend our glorious commander. We'll take all these spearmen, and we're going to start marching our way out to the sea, because I need to do some of these rituals, or I think I'm just going to go insane. I mean, I have enough sacrifices now where I can do multiple rituals. But I'm also somewhat terrified, because if I fail any of these rituals, well, I'm going to suddenly suffer a lot for it. So use special power. Call of the Deep. Oh, okay. There seems to be no mastery test. At least, I assume there's no mastery test. Neat. Let's see what this does. Ceremony of the Deep. By performing the summoning ceremony far below the surface of the ocean, the influence of the stars is much lessened and the dangers of misreading the stars is minimized. When the ritual is performed in the depths, only special types of deep-dwelling creatures will respond. Can only be cast in the deep sea. Okay, that's actually pretty neat. I'm just going to keep doing the Call of the Deep. At least until we have some of the actual frontline troops that I'm used to. And Lemerick is just going to be a glorified scout. Like, I'm not even going to lie about it. He has no other purpose than just keep getting these locations shown to us. And Narcy, you can return now. With this army, when we actually get a force together and become a force to be reckoned with, we'll start sending them out elsewhere. And looks like for a medium-sized island, we don't actually have that many areas to go to, and most areas are blocked off by armies that are simply too huge to take on. For the bear tribe, I presume. No, it's snakes. I thought most hybrids are poison resistant, or did they deal away with that? Yeah, they dealt away with it. Most hybrids were poison resistant to an extent, and the poison should wipe them out? Nope, they actually kept that one. Not like it matters. Having one extra troop does virtually nothing. Well, okay. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about that turn of events at all. We'll just sit here. Lemerick is just not going to move, because that place is just good enough by itself. As he moves, we'll take a coastal hamlet, and we have a port there. And we're actually just going to start auto-generating troops. Excuse me while I throw my hands up in the air in frustration for just suddenly gaining a bunch of free troops and units every couple of turns in the northern regions. Why? Well, I was joking about that. And thankfully the AI is also, like, brain dead occasionally. So we might be able to escape with this. Lemerick, go back into the woods, just hide inside the port for now. You'll eventually auto-generate enough troops where this doesn't matter. Narcy will wait until you can make the full movements necessary to get there. And Lemerick, sit inside here. When spring comes, we should... Alright. Divitikas, the druid, has been eliminated. The last commander was slain by Thierry the demonologist. Perhaps this area is too small. And again, that just kind of naturally happens. Anyway, Call of the Deep. More shamblers! More deep ones! And I don't think you can actually summon anything else, so I guess we'll just keep waiting. Well, we'll start auto-generating troops here, which I keep talking about, but it's not like I can really avoid that. There's not much to do except sit around, build up troops, and then hopefully start being able to wipe out the independents nearby. And not attracting the attention of Baal the cultist. Or High Priestess, sorry. But looks like we're going to be on time soon enough. which I might as well end it after this turn. Yeah, we'll just see what else we get first. Just a few more turns. And hey, Hybrid Cultist. What do you know? A ritual of mastery and ceremony in the deep. Well, I guess you can actually head out to the oceans to try that. I say as you immediately go and die because the shallow sea is a thing. The shallow sea is pain. The shallow sea is suffering. Anyway, we'll end this episode here. Hope you all enjoyed the first episode of Let's Play Conquest of Elysium 4, and I'm signing off. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment, or subscribe, for it helps out a great deal, and I hope to see you all next time. Farewell.